Hello, my name is XONEVANT. Today is Monday, May the 12th, and this is your Daily Dose. Alright guys, so today I wanted to talk about haters, and this goes for internet haters, this goes for people who are hating on you in real life, just haters in general, man. Now you'll hear a lot of people say, right, don't respond to the haters, don't feed the trolls and that sort of stuff. I don't know, I don't necessarily agree with that. Maybe in some cases I do, but I always try to give that particular person the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? Especially when they, like on some of my YouTube videos, when somebody comes out of the gate with a very strong critical remark that I feel like crosses that respect boundary. You see what I mean? I'll always give them one opportunity. In other words, I will comment back to them very forceful. You see what I mean? Kind of direct and in their face, kind of giving them the sign, the same kind of punch that they gave me, and see how they respond. And in most cases, people kind of turn it around, because I think what happens is that haters don't get called out enough. You know what I mean? It's the same reason why bullies keep bullying people in school, is because nobody steps up to the bully. The second you step up to the bully, whether you have to do it verbally or physically in some cases, right? You put them in their place, they don't bother you no more. So for me personally, I typically will always respond to that quote unquote hater at least once, just to kind of fill them out. And I'll know after that comment back from them whether they're going to be a true hater or whether they're going to kind of come around. I remember back in the day when I used to play Battlefield 3 a ton, and you guys remember, if you're Battlefield 3 fans, the USAS 12. Remember, it was overpowered at one point. People were complaining about it. It eventually got patched. And the old guy who used to help me run the channel, EP.132, he and I were going to be doing we had plans on doing kind of a debate video about OP weapons and stuff like that. So we had to go into Battlefield and actually use the gun, right, to get footage so that we could play that footage in the backdrop of the video that we were going to be making. And oh my God, dude, we got so much hate. People calling us names, sending us comments, you noobs and all this kind of stuff. What they didn't realize though is that this was a gun that we never really played with. Like, I didn't even realize it was an quote unquote OP gun until I actually used it for the first time, because those are not guns that I typically use at all anyway. And I'm talking about, these comments were strong, like people threatening to kill me and kill my parents and all this kind of stuff, man. Tell me where you live and all this kind of stuff, silly stuff. But basically comments that cross that threshold of respect. Now, I guess I could have done what most people will tell you to do, right? Hey, just stay away from them, let them do their thing or whatever. But that's not how I roll, man. You know what I mean? I'm not scared of anybody. I'm not fearful of anybody. At the end of the day, it's just all words. You know what I mean? And words can have power, but I don't let words get to me, whether they're good or bad. You know what I mean? It's a choice I make. And so I decided to respond to every single one of them. And there was one person that I had this conversation with for days. I mean, days after we played that session to get that footage, probably at least 3 or 4 days back and forth and back and forth. And eventually this person became a friend of mine on my PSN friends list, because he came around to what I was trying to do. And because he just responded to me as if I were a player who used this gun all the time. In other words, he labeled me and then hated me for no reason. Now, it's not always going to play out that way. I mean, obviously there's going to be haters that they're going to hate, man, no matter what happens. They don't, like I said, they don't know how to be anything other than what they are. You know what I mean? Some haters, quote unquote, you're never going to change. Just like if somebody wanted to try to change me into being a hater or hating life or something like that, it just wouldn't happen, because that's not who I am. You see what I mean? So the way that I deal with it, man, is I always challenge the hater back with a comment, or in real life, I'll ask them a question. I'll try to get to the bottom of why they may be feeling that way. And if I feel like that the conversation is still heading down that disrespectful path, then I'll just end that conversation. Or if I know them in real life, I just won't talk to them ever again, because part of living life is cutting out things. You see what I mean? Cutting out things in your life that you don't need. I don't need negativity and I don't need hate. You see what I mean? So everybody gets a chance, but it's a very small chance. You see what I mean? But I don't agree with this mentality that you just let people talk to you and you don't stand up for yourself. I don't agree with that one bit. So that's kind of how I feel about haters. And the truth about haters, they're just doing their job. You know what I mean? It's like superheroes and villains. You know, you know what I'm saying? That's all they know how to do is hate. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that just remain in control of the conversation. Know what your limits are and be ready to just cut people off completely. Don't ever talk to them again. It's a waste of your time. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't give them a shot. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to engage in conversation with. Like I said, a lot of them are just, they might just have a misunderstanding about the situation, very similar to the whole USAS-12 thing, right? Once I kind of explain, hey, we're just doing kind of a debate on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. He was like, oh, I didn't realize that. See what I mean? So had I came back to him with, no, you're stupid too, and then he would have been like, no, you're stupid, then we'd have never got to the core of the matter. You see what I mean? So just remain in control of the conversation. Remember this, you own your world. You know what I mean? You allow certain people to be in your world, and you can also control whether they're not in your world. And the best thing that you can do, if you know the constant barrage of negativity and them crossing that threshold, if that keeps happening, cut them off, baby. You see what I mean? I think that on YouTube, I don't really block a lot of people on YouTube, but I think I've blocked 3 people on YouTube. But it's not because I blocked them just because they hated. It's because I gave them a shot to change their ways, and they decided not to. So then they get blocked. You see what I mean? Because like I said, I give them that chance to make sure that they understand the situation. Don't let these people get to you, man. Like at the end of the day, you're in control of the conversation. Remain in control of the conversation. A lot of times I'll carry on with people in the comment sections of my videos, not because they're getting to me, because it's entertaining for me, right? To try and crack their code, to try to figure them out, to try to get them to come to my side of things, you know what I mean, to the right side of things. And I treat it as entertainment, man. It's like the more that they talk, right, the more they talk about the situation, or they just say silly stuff like, this video sucks, or something like that. Any of those stupid, silly comments, they're entertaining me because that's actually quite funny to me. And I'll carry on with them in the comment section because I feel like, hey, anybody who reads these comments probably going to be tripping out. You know what I mean? So, but I do also know when to cut it off, when to cut it off completely, when to block people, when to just not respond or whatever. And you kind of have to know that. But at the end of the day, I'm in control of what I allow into my life and what I kick out of my life. And you guys should be thinking about the same thing. If a hater is getting to you and they're depressing you and all that kind of stuff, it's not necessarily because they're doing their job correctly. It's because you're not doing your job correctly. Your job is to kick them suckers to the curb, baby. You know what I mean? Then you don't have to worry about it no more. So as long as you're confident in engaging them and not allowing it to get to you, then it's just pure entertainment. You know what I mean? It's almost hysterical at that point. But if you don't know that about yourself, how far you can take the conversation, then don't engage in the conversation at all. Cut them out, man. Get them out of your life. It's just not worth it, right? Don't be hanging around all that crazy negativity, man. Try to be positive, and that's what it's all about. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Be good.